All right, Sydney, take it away. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, so I just arrived at the Laikipia East Member of Parliament offices, and we're here to deliver a petition to ask him to place a censure motion against the president. It's quite less busy, and
So why do you think it's so less busy?
the risk of having protest any time in this town is so high. So there is
Okay.
so many people are working from home, and I think including the officials from in this office.
So we're not seeing anybody, huh? And I don't blame them. I mean, this is not fair on anybody. So there they are.
Wow.
Sydney? So there's just nobody there.
There's nobody here. Let me check some other offices.
And when you get a chance, why don't you pull out that letter and let's just see what it is that you've typed up and who you're delivering this to. Wow. So we're walking through the government offices of Laikipia East. Is that correct? But it's also where Laikipia North has their offices. And that's your member of parliament. Look at that. You just walked into an office. Is there anybody? Oh, hi. Hello. I'll let Sydney talk when he's ready.
Has been informed to go upstairs. I'm trying to decide if it's so silent.
Okay.
Wow, he really went.
He went. Good on you.
Well, that is Sydney for you.
He went. That's Sydney. That's why he's the man. You go, Sydney. Okay, we've got Sydney right now in the offices of Laikipia East.
Yeah, sorry. Let me switch off my audio. The kids are back from school, so
No problem. You go ahead. I'll keep talking. You go ahead and switch off when we need to again. We're really just going to wait for Sydney. Hey, okay. We see a shadow. Interesting. How are we doing, Sydney?
So the petition has been received, and I am left with a copy of the petition, and he has promised to deliver it to the member of parliament before our protest next Tuesday. So we are
So
on.
we're on. So you have no. So
Yeah,
tell
this
me
is
what.
crazy.
Tell me what the letter said, Sydney. Tell me what the letter said, please.
So I can read the letter. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I write to you as a constituent, a Laikipia native, and a young Kenyan who was chosen to build his life in this county in service of its future. I write with respect for the stand you have taken on this matter and with a call for you to go further. I commend you for your public rejection of the proposed establishment of an Ebola quarantine facility at Laikipia Base in Manyuki. Your statement alongside fellow Laikipia members of parliament demanding full government disclosure and declaring the residents no logic in hosting such a facility was the right response at the right moment. Your words on the floor of the National Assembly on that June 2026, in which you challenged the Health Cabinet Secretary directly and reminded the House of the people of Laikipia never fully healed from the wounds of colonization, but the words of someone who understands what it means when decisions affecting the community are made without that community knowledge of consent. We heard you and we stand with you. But, Honorable Member, a statement and a floor interrogation are not enough. The government has heard your objections, and the health CS Aden Duale appeared before the National Assembly and declared that public participation is not required and that the government will not consult citizens on this matter. The President has remained silent and the facility temporarily halted by an order from the High Court may yet proceed the moment that order is lifted. I, therefore, exercising my right under Article 37 and 119 of the Constitution of Kenya, try to formally petition you to initiate or sponsor a censure motion in the National Assembly against His Excellency the President for the following grounds. Number one, the violation of the principle of public participation, which lists public participation as a national value binding on all state organs in making and implementing public decisions. Number two, failure of transparency and accountability under Article 10 of the Constitution, in that the government agreed to host foreign linked quarantine facility on soil without informing you, our representatives. Then number three, undermining the sovereignty and
Uh-oh. We lost you, Sydney. Sydney. Hang on, Sydney. If you want to, Sydney, you want to turn off your camera? Sorry, hang on. Sorry, we lost you a little bit there, Sydney. There we go. Carry on.
Nicole just joined. Hi, Nicole.
People of Kenya, a decision to receive foreign nationals exposed to one of the world's most infectious diseases and to quarantine them on Kenyan soil. The benefit of a foreign government is a matter of national consequence and demands democratic methods. And lastly, it is a disregard for the health and economic security of Laikipia residents, a county that depends significantly on tourism, conservation, and agriculture. The Laikipia wildlife landscape is among Kenya's most visited wildlife areas. The reputational and economic damage of this association, should the facility proceed, will be borne entirely by the people of Kenya. Honorable, a censure motion sends a message to the President, to Parliament, and to the international community that you refuse to be bystanders when the executive makes a decision of this magnitude in the dark. It creates parliamentary record, it emboldens other members to stand firm, and it positions Laikipia's voice at the center of a national conversation that is already underway. You have already spoken the truth, honorable member, and I write to assure you of something important, that the youth of Nanyuki and the entire Laikipia are watching and we are with you. The people of this constituency, many of whom joined peaceful protest at the airbase Monday, 1st June 2026. We are a generation that understands our rights and refuse to be treated as though our land and our safety are bargaining chip, and that believes our representative must do more to speak. We urge you to carry our voice into the field, and I remain available should you require further correspondence, updating documentation, or a community engagement. That is my submission to the House, and I'm now leaving the the MP's office. So he's walking towards the tallest building in town. Whew.
So where are you headed now, Sydney?
So I'm headed home. I've just left the
Okay.
offices.
All right. So there you are. All right. Just get one more last picture of that. That's awesome. The Laikipia East offices. And how long are you walking home? Are you how are you going to get home?
It is home is about 800 meters from here.
Oh, perfect. Very easy walk then. Fantastic. And gosh, so I guess is Jeremy, are you in the area with Jeremy or any of our friends? Can we call Jeremy and get him to call in? I would like to see how he's doing too.
Yeah, Jeremy is on the other side of town.
Okay. Now, so do we still have Nicole on? Let me see if I can invite Nicole in. Nicole. Where's Nicole Richard? Are you there? Maybe I have to let her in. Nicole Richard. Huh. No. Nicole, do you have a Substack account? Because if not, I can't invite you. Darn it. Nicole. Hey. Nicole, do you have a Substack account? I'm wondering why I can't invite you. This has been happening today, has it not? And Nicole, tell me your Substack name if you have it. In the chat. You want to put it in the chat? She might not be able to chat because she might be Nicole might not be able to chat because she is a busy working mom. And I'm sure oh no, Nicole is actually driving north. Nicole's driving. Hey, Sydney, you're back. Hello? Hello? Okay. Well, Sydney. Gotcha. Let me see if I can invite Nicole to stream. Let me see. Invite to stream. Wonder why they're not letting me do that. Okay, I clearly need to do a little bit more homework. I'm sorry, Nicole. I have no idea why it won't let me stream. Oh, here we go. Invite to stream. Waiting for Nicole. Okay, Nicole, I tried. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Nicole can join us. Again, if you are joining us, my name is Barbara Joubert of True Places, and you are live on Regeneration Station with Kate. Kate Wambui is in Nairobi. Kate is our mentorship expertise when it comes to girls in Kenya. This is who you want in the lead. A mother of 3. I know she looks so young and everyone's so surprised, but this is a very talented, highly educated mother of 3, balancing husbands, dogs, kids, work, mentorship, and the like. And I could not be more thrilled that she's here. I've invited in Nicole Richard. Nicole has come with me to Kenya many times. Nicole has been a long-time partner. She is co-founder of Science in a Suitcase, and we just couldn't do this. I mean, the whole reason I'm in Kenya is because of Nicole Richard and her team at Science in a Suitcase. They were one of the first teams that I brought after meeting Old Pajetta Conservancy. Sydney, who you've been hearing and who had walked a petition to his local member of parliament of Laikipia North. He has just walked a petition to his member of parliament in, send the link again. Gotcha. Here we go. Here we go. Let's try this. See if that works. And let me see if I can get, I sent Nicole invite. Let me see if I can get Sydney. All right. Sending an invite. Sydney has been invited. Send invite. Something went wrong. I don't know why that keeps happening, Sydney. I really do have to figure that out. I'm trying to invite guests and it simply will not let me. Why is it doing that? Well, that's why we practiced. At least we got him on video. Let me do this by going to WhatsApp. Let's do this now. Go back to WhatsApp, and I'm going to go to Sydney and send him a link again. Try this, Sydney, and tell me if you can get back in. It's still the same one. Let's just see. Is it not letting you get back in? And Nicole, if you had a chance to come on in, you might be low on broadband as well. But shoot, this was good practice. Hey, I see. Okay, we can hear you. It's just very hard to see, isn't it? Because everybody's broadband is a little bit slower today. Are you on the road?
I am sitting outside my kids' football camp. So I'm in the car, but not driving.
Fun. Okay, so you can actually do this safely is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Nicole, for joining us. We decided we just go live and do a practice when Sydney was walking the petition to the local member of parliament. And of course, as you know, we are petitioning and protesting the decision of the U.S. president to corruptly go to the corrupt Kenyan president and decide to open up an evac camp right in the middle of Nanyuki for U.S. potential Ebola patients. So I want to make sure this is really clear for everybody who sees this later. The reason we have a huge issue in Nanyuki, Kenya right now, and all Americans, especially Americans holding a U.S. passport that intend to travel anywhere in the world, what Trump is doing with his co-corrupt president in Kenya is move American citizens who potentially have been exposed to the Ebola disease from the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the country bleeding Ebola into it is Uganda. The two countries side by side currently have existing Ebola cases. Those cases are growing. U.S. citizens need to go home to be taken care of. That is a right of a citizen. And right now, the Trump administration is trying to stop anyone that possibly was exposed to Ebola to come home to the States. He is trying to set up an evac hospital in a third country, Kenya, a country currently with no Ebola. They have not had Ebola since 2004. And the country is protesting, especially the area that we're in. Why Barbara Joubert and Nicole Richard and Catherine Wambui are currently online discussing this and supporting our friend Sydney is because our work is right there in the heart of Nanyuki. Nicole, would you like to talk about your visits to Nanyuki and what you're doing and why you were helping us protest this move by Trump?
Sure. So we have a nonprofit called Science in a Suitcase, and our mission is really to, create STEM opportunities, science, technology, engineering, the arts, so STEAM and math, opportunities for kids in under-resourced areas of the world. And so we have this beautiful partnership with so many different organizations in Kenya and Laikipia and Nanyuki specifically that are just doing such amazing work for kids to open up new opportunities for children and their futures and spark new possibilities. And so we've been there since 2023, working with Olpajeta Conservancy and the schools that they support to bring start robotics programs for the schools around the border of the conservancy. And it's been amazing. Like we have a lot of momentum going. The kids have been so excited to, it's rare that they get these kind of these opportunities to use these types of hands-on learning platforms and gain exposure to this kind of hands-on learning experience. And so, yeah, we currently have programs. Robotics Club started in 6 different schools, primary schools and secondary schools. So we're serving kids like basically 10 through 18 in different ways. And so we serve about 200 kids per year, and yeah, teaching them science and engineering and how empowering them to look around their communities and, you know, feel empowered to solve the problems, the challenges that their communities are facing using technology, using robotics, starting to like really lean into using more AI, figuring out how they can actually craft solutions that better their communities and their own lives. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing, which has been amazing work and just so, and we are so impressed. We're so like honored to be a part of this community. We've been invited in and welcomed in, and just the way that the schools and the students and the teachers have, stepped up and really embraced these opportunities. They've worked so hard. So we run a competition between all the schools. It's actually June 13th this year. We'll bring all schools together to have a robotics competition where they're solving different missions, different challenges with a certain theme, and then other teams are kind of solving these open challenges, so figuring out problems, again, challenges in their communities that they feel moved to develop some prototypes for, and they'll be developing those and competing kind of in the with the brilliance of their solutions. And so the winners from that competition, we support going to Nairobi to compete at the national level. And from there, if they win, there's opportunities to compete at the international level, both in just African invitational tournaments and like the international world finals of the World Robot Olympiad. And so over the years, we've had 2 different teams competing from Nanyuki. So from rural Nanyuki, we've had 2 different teams that have won spots to participate internationally. So we've been able to get them passports and get all the paperwork to support them leaving the country. So one team went to South Africa, and another team last year went to compete at the World International Finals at the World Robot Olympiad in Singapore. And so just the way that this community rallied behind their students. Their students are their first in their families to ever have passports, to ever get on an airplane, to ever leave the country, and just the pride and the momentum and the just community support behind the success of these students has been so moving. And so, yeah, it's just been a beautiful thing to be a part of.
Thank you, Nicole. Well, let me tell you, we just, the moment we met years ago, we've been doing this a long time together, haven't we? And
Yep.
I think you and I knew even years ago that we were onto something, and sure enough, it's working. And yes, we've had to do a couple of iterations, but the work in Kenya, especially in Nanyuki, I mean, you and I both, every time we go, we just think, how blessed are we that this community not only sees potential in their kids, but potential in the visitors that come. They're not tourists. We don't bring tourists to places. we are bringing people who are being invited into a community, sometimes a smaller community, something small like maybe Grain of Rice with Amy and Derek and the wonderful people there. Or maybe it's just over to Joshua's at Dorman's, Joshua over at Dorman's right there in on the main road. And then everyone knows Dorman's, everyone knows Joshua and those great um, milkshakes. And, it's not just these smaller areas, it's the entire area of Nanyuki. No matter where we go, people are coming out to meet us, to find out what we're doing. And now, we've been doing this a few years now. They're actually recognizing us and asking, when are we coming to their schools? And so that's why we're grateful for the partnership with Old Pajetta Conservancy. And your leader there is Jeremy. And I know you've already spoken about the winning teams. I'll speak directly to Jeremy and what a find he was. And I've been putting different nonprofits up online for people to be able to have a look at. Of course, I've got Science in a Suitcase up right now. And you can see, oh, look at that. I'm in there too. So yes, come to Science in a Suitcase and support work through there. Or let me bring you up to Dr. Karambu Ringera, International Peace Initiatives. International Peace Initiatives. Because that is where Jeremy came from. So the reason I've been able to be or my little company myself, moving out of little Texas and going into Kenya, has been so successful in gathering and getting great partnerships like Science in a Suitcase and Mizani and Old Pajetta, is owed to Dr. Karambu Ringera. I am sharing this tab here just so it can be on the recording at ipeaceeye.org. Dr. Karambu Ringera is doing incredible work in her community outside of Meru. Now, Dr. Karambu Ringera does training for students to go out and inspire their communities. And Jeremy Mwimba is the one who came from IPI. And thank you. MazaniConcept.org is also on there. So I wanted to introduce, sorry, I'm just breaking away. Dr. Karambu Ringera of International Peace Initiatives is the one who did leadership for Jeremy. So when I was looking for a teacher, I immediately called Dr. K. She's a doctorate in education and international development. She works both in the US and in Kenya, and is well known internationally for the communities that she has already built. She is redefining education for rural kids in Kenya and kids everywhere. Many Americans know International Peace Initiatives because they've gone to Turiji Eco Center, outside of Meru, and met Dr. K and gone through some of the extensive courses and programs that they have. One of those is local Kenyan leadership. And boy, are they doing a great job, because that's how we got Jeremy. Jeremy then was introduced to the team over in Nanyuki, where he now lives. When I met Jeremy and I saw him do his work with his other teacher friends back in July 22, when we were traveling with Well Aware, boy, I knew I was on to something there. I said, that Jeremy is someone, he cares about these kids. He inspires and excited the kids. And how I knew I had the right person, the local teacher of the school that we were working in said, how do I get to hire him? And I said, you don't have to. He's yours. He's going to work in Nanyuki until we build a program. That's when Nicole and Antonio of Science in a Suitcase came in. I said, I've got your teacher, Nicole. And that's when Antonio, the teacher, the TOT, the trainer of trainers from Science in a Suitcase and co-founder, came over, met Jeremy in Nanyuki, and saw his work. By then, True Places had already gifted him, or it wasn't even a gift, it was investment. I invested in Jeremy's future with a driver's license. So that was one of the funner parts of our building up Jeremy's capacity, was getting him a driver's license. And then we got him graduated from university. He was matriculating the year we met. And then he was off to Nanyuki to work. By then, Science in a Suitcase said, yes, please. And Nicole, do you want to speak to that work that Jeremy's been doing? Uh-oh, I might have lost Nicole. That's okay.
I'm
People are
here. Sorry.
that's all
I
right.
had to unmute. Yeah, so Jeremy has been doing like we would not be able to do what we've been able to do without Jeremy. He has been doing such a phenomenal job. He is our program coordinator, so he is the one that is basically traveling, spends his weeks traveling between all of the schools, training the teachers, supporting the programs. Oh my gosh, he wears so many hats, like really, organizing the competitions, bringing in, connecting us with like Google mentors, traveling, organizing, helping to work with you, Barbara, and Kate on organizing travel opportunities for the kids. Um, Really just like doing everything, really kind of just the person on the ground making all of the magic happen from a Science in a Suitcase perspective. He's also done a lot of work just doing little one-day pop-up workshops for kids in other communities, traveling back to international peace initiatives to help train their teachers and their students, and um, speaking at ed tech conferences, like doing basically just being willing to jump in and just keep creating and with different organizations and doing everything he possibly can to expand STEM and STEAM opportunities for kids in this area. So he's just phenomenal.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. In fact, um, oh, I thought that might have been Jeremy coming in, but it's not. But anyway, we'll hopefully get Jeremy online so you can actually meet this real superhuman. And I've got a few more people that are trying to come in live. So let's. Hey, I think I have Anna Boudreau here live. Thank you, Anna, for joining us. So Anna Boudreau, if you were just joining us, I think you know Nicole, who's on the line, and we have others. Kate is also on the line. Any questions you have for us, please let us know. This is being recorded, and Anna will be chopping it up later for all the good bits, and she will be very forgiving because it's a test run. But Anna, what I wanted to let you know is that Sydney, Anna is the one who encouraged me to do this, to get online, go live, and start talking about what we're doing. So thank you, Anna. I think I will do this every day. I'm loving it already. I will figure out Substack even better so that I can feature more of our friends and get the donations going for everyone. So I say that when it comes to what we're doing, really all of us are looking at this as investments. This is an investment we can actually show you a return on. That is something not happening a lot within, say, tourism. So thank you for joining us, everybody here. Let me catch you up to what's been happening. We started this morning with Sydney. We started early this morning because Sydney Legiore at Old Pagetta Conservancy, he is the education coordinator, conservation education specialist. Thank you. There we go. Sydney wrote a letter to his member of parliament, then walked to his member of parliament of North Laikipia County, where Old Pagetta Conservancy now sits, and delivered that letter to the member of parliament to be read aloud on the House floor. That is the requirement now of that MP. Sydney read that letter out loud here. No, you can't see me, Anna, because my camera does not work and I'm trying to feature my friends that are speaking. So you will see me soon. Well, actually you won't, because this computer has no camera, but it's okay. I'm here, and we'll drop me in there a little bit later with some video. When Sydney got to the member of parliament, he dropped the letter off, he came out, and then he read his copy of the letter that had just been submitted to his member of parliament of North Laikipia County. Now, why Laikipia County is protesting is because Trump is putting his Ebola evac hospital right in the middle of Nanyuki. And so let me go back to the maps and show you where we are concerned. Nanyuki, Kenya. and I will share this screen so you can see just where we're concerned about. This is the way that it's being reported. First of all, the tourism industry has nothing to say about this, which is appalling. Tourism has been dropping. Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, but the tourism has been dropping since the very day it was even proposed. The evac hospital has not even opened. It has not been done. Last Friday, when it was announced, protests started immediately in Nanyuki and Nairobi and around the country because Trump is trying to put an Ebola evac hospital right here in the middle of Nanyuki town. Basically, I can show you on this map. They won't show you where the air base is, but we can certainly show you that on this map. There is an air base right up this road. And I'm going to back out and show you where that is in comparison to where the very, very vulnerable ecosystem is right now. So let me show you that real quick. Right here is Nanyuki. This is a town. There are tens of thousands of people in Nanyuki. And what you don't see are the hundreds of thousands of people that are all surrounding these conservancies. You can tell there where the lines of these conservancies are because you can see this darker line here. This is Old Pajetta Conservancy, one of the largest in this area. That is where Sydney is a conservation specialist. He is a conservation education specialist. When we take a trip to Kenya, it is Sydney that meets us at the gates here of this almost 100,000 acres where they're trying to save the last northern white rhino. Last northern white rhino. We have 2 females left and no males. We have the straw or the semen in straws that are inseminated into these females. Sydney goes to the schools all around this area. This is all Laikipia County. All of this is Laikipia County. And he is going to the schools all around Old Pajetta Conservancy. That Old Pajetta actually subsidizes Sydney to go to these schools because we know if we educate the kids about the threat against the wildlife in their backyard, these kids will grow into protective adults. That's the idea. Get into the schools, help these kids within their education on all fronts. And Sydney is there to talk about wildlife conservation. He does this every day. He's out in the communities talking about the protection that we have to have around the conservancy. Why I want to show you why it's so important, why our methodology is working and why it's so important is because there are many more around. Kenya is not like South Africa. Kenya does not allow hunting. Kenya requires conservation. In almost every county, you will find conservancies around Kenya trying to save specific species. Old Pajetta Conservancy is working hard on the northern white rhino. Now, it doesn't mean there's not other animals. There are hundreds of different species within Old Pajetta Conservancy, including chimpanzees, giraffes, elephants, lions, cheetahs, leopards. Sydney, I'm sure, will come and tell me more and can tell you more stories about his work there. But I wanted to show you on this map that all of the other conservancies. Do you see? We have Liwa, we have Borana, we have Leparia, Lekuriki. I've never even been to some of these. They are so far north. Oljogi is one of the neighbors, and we all know each other. The people who are coming to these places and doing the work within conservancies are learning about each other. Why? Because the bigger the network of conservationists that come to travel, the more we're going to be able to get the world's attention on these rare and very these exotic and at risk species, almost to the point of extinction. So there's a lot of work to be done here. What does not help is when travelers or tourists are turned away because politics are playing around in this area, and it's not welcome. It's not welcomed by the Kenyans. Our people are out on the streets protesting, and it is not welcomed by people in America, especially people I'm sure that have traveled with me to any part of the world. You know, the work that we do is to add to communities, not to take away. You know that we use the 4 C's of regenerative travel, and the number 1 C is community. We talk to the community first. The community asked for STEM education. We delivered with Science in a Suitcase. That's what Nicole and their team are doing. So Nicole and their team started with 6 schools here, but Jeremy has been able to make the awareness of what they're doing even bigger. And that's why we support the locals first. We do not bring white Americans, white Westerners into this area to train Kenyans. Kenyans have excellent teachers. They have excellent continuing education. They have excellent opportunities to go into these rural areas where, yes, you will find school in some of the most rural areas. We have been into schools that have dirt floors. When it rains during the rainy season, I have seen these students standing in rain, still working their robots with Jeremy because they're getting ready for a competition. And like Nicole said, there's a big competition coming up. So I'm trying to travel to Old Pajetta Conservancy, to this community of Nanyuki as soon as I can. Funding has been tight. It's been tight for everybody. But we're determined to keep going and to let the world know that we're doing everything possible to keep the Ebola clinic from opening on that U.S. base by an American. Americans are protesting. I just want it out there. I'm trying to go over there and be in the streets and protesting with my friends. So I'm sorry if you cannot see my face. It's more important right now that we go ahead and highlight the area, highlight our friends. I do want to go and see. Let me open up the brand new website. Let's see. I believe it might be Mizani Concepts.org. Kate is brand new at this work. Not brand new. Sorry, the company is brand new. And we have, you know what I did? I opened up the Mizani update. Sorry, the Mizani.org on Squarespace, part of Regeneration Stations. So Mizani is Kate. Kate, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Can you get on a camera just to say hello to Anna, and let's introduce a few more people that Anna may not have met. And Anna, if there's any questions at all, feel free to chat. I could even try. I'm not allowed to let you join, but I can have you chat. Hey, Kate.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much, Kate, for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and just, let's see, I'm going to stop sharing that. And Kate, do you have Mizani Concepts? I'll show you. Did you see what it looks like? You might not have seen it, but I'm going to go back to here. There we go. Hey, Kate. There we go. There's the light. How are you doing? I want everyone to meet Kate, founder of Mizani Concepts. Mizani is our newest partner, but Kate has been around for many, many years now. Kate, do you want to let Anna Boudreau know what you're doing and why you're involved with True Places and Regeneration Station?
Yeah. So, hi, Anna. Once again, my name is Kate Wamboi. I'm from Nairobi. I'm the founder of Mizani. So, Mizani is a company that is geared towards wellness, especially for students, because we do go to these community schools around the Old Pajetta Conservancy. And what we do is that we try and do capacity building for students. So on top of the curriculum that they are learning, we have other programs that we are running to make sure that they have physical wellness, emotional wellness, social wellness, and mental wellness. So we go there, we do these capacity building talks, and we also have menstrual hygiene for girls. We also give out sanitary pads to girls who are not able to access them, and we have sex education programs. So it's like it's a tandem program to every other program that is going on to make sure that the welfare of the students is put first. So we have also been partnering with Science in a Suitcase because when they are in the classroom doing the robotics, we are also in the classroom checking out the welfare of the kids. If they are ready to learn, if there's any other problems that they're going through, kind of like if they need help with their social welfare, so that, once you teach them the curriculum, you also want to make sure that they are in a state to absorb. So Mizani is that it's a welfare program for students, mostly for primary school and high school. So we usually just encase ourselves around the 4Cs, where we are looking at the culture, the community, and the commerce of everything around the students, so that when they are also done with school, we want to make sure that they can assimilate in the community. So we work a lot with travel to places, because when they come in with their travelers, we are able to take them to our schools. We are able to show them the projects that we have been doing. We do a lot of also collaboration with conservation education, because when you're working around a conservancy, you cannot not educate the community on conservation. So that's why we also liaise a lot with Sydney, even when we're going to these schools. And as we're talking about the welfare of the students, we also talk about the welfare of the community, which includes conservation, habitat restoration. We plant a lot of trees, and we talk about conservation and conservation education around animals, around people, around the community, and just the environment at large. So that's what we've been doing in the schools, and we just want to say thank you to you guys, our supporters, who have been supporting us in these programs. Some of them are new. Okay, they're not really new. We are trying to launch them afresh and do them better than we have been doing before. So that is why this talk today is very important to us, because if there's a pandemic around the area which we operate, if it is sealed off, then that means we are not able to access our communities. They're not able to access us. We are not able to access amenities such as schools and hospitals and just the community at large. So for us, it's kind of heartbreaking to hear that we might be in a looming pandemic in that area. So thank you so much for caring about this and talking about it, and also involving us in this conversation, because it's very important. It's affecting us at a very deep level, and we really appreciate you guys for helping us to speak out. Yeah. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Kate.
I don't know if
And
there's any questions you have pertaining our programs or our communities that you would like to know.
yes, to our entire Substack world and anybody listening in the future to this recording, we are open to all conversations. I will make sure that all the links are there, mizaniconcepts.org. And Anna and and Kate are ready for any kind of conversation. And I can't say enough about Kate's work. Sorry, Sydney. I don't know why I can't let Sydney in. I'm so sorry, Sydney. I'm doing my only thing I can think is we go out and go back in again, but then it's a different chat. So I will figure this out. That's why we're here. That's why we're testing. And I did want you to know that Anna is one of our supporters on Regeneration Station Substack. She is a paid subscriber. So thank you, Anna. Every month, I'm following conversation, but you can't contribute. Sorry. Okay, thank you. Sydney is following. He's great. Sydney, you have done your work today. Sydney has already walked a letter to his member of parliament and is now back home, ready to enjoy the end of the day. Does anybody know, if anyone knows when the next protests are happening? I believe it's starting soon. There are going to be more protests in Nanyuki, and we definitely want to be following that. So we will go live again during protests, and of course we'll be safe for our friend Sydney. Hey, 9th of June. There you go. Thank you, Sydney. Sydney is chiming in. We will figure out why we can't let you come in and out, but we'll get there in the end. And I will not be in Kenya at that point, but we'll definitely go live and make sure that the world can see We are trying to fight off this Ebola clinic in the middle of a country that has no Ebola. So the tourism industry has got to answer to this. I need to hear from somebody out in the tourism industry, which is why I'll be doing another Substack just for my friends in the tourism industry to get the information out there, to let them know they need to stop funding the tourism industrial complex that's allowing tourism to be waning in and out. The tourism industry alone should be saying no to this, because if Trump and Ruto are allowed to do this in Kenya, then it takes one other corrupt politician in some other country, and it will happen to other people's countries. So most people say not coming here. However, it is. It's happening right now in Kenya. Kenya is a sovereign country. They make their own decisions, and they do not need to take in Americans with the potential of Ebola to be treated when the Americans are not inviting the Kenyans to be treated in the same such facility. That is the outrage. That is one of the biggest the fact that they're bringing potential Ebola patients to the little town of Nanyuki, which is literally harboring all the saviors, all the people who care about what's going on in those communities, is surrounded by Old Pajetta Conservancy. They are leading the conservation, the regenerative conservation charge in Nanyuki. This is not a little town in the middle of nowhere. This is millions of people, millions of animals, all at risk because of this decision. This will affect people directly, and it will not be open to others. It's only for Americans. That makes no sense. So Trump is going to put an evac hospital in the middle of a town in Kenya, only have Americans there and not serve the Kenyans that are hosting. That is anti-regenerative. That is the exact opposite of regenerative. When we come in, we add to. We do not take away from. Regenerative travel principles rely on that. Number one, transparency. What's happening? Where is it? And why? There hasn't been any of that from the U.S. government, nor I'm going to suggest Kenya's government, but I'll let the Kenyans answer to that. And we simply cannot allow this to continue when regenerative travelers say we have to be adding to a community, not causing problems to that community. So ever since we've been traveling with regenerative principles with our different partners, well aware, Science in a Suitcase, using regenerative principles from other regenerative NGOs like Miracle Foundation, we have been going in to add to this community, to add to their capacity to build their own travel experiences in their own communities with their own people. And now outsiders want to tell them how to handle their own area. And that's just not acceptable. It is not acceptable on any means. So it has to be stopped. Kate, can you speak to the judge that has already put an injunction? And do you know if that is going to be, is that at risk? Do you think it will hold? Have you heard anything about that, Kate?
Well, okay, in Kenya, as you know, injunctions are suggestions.
Okay.
Because there was a court order to stop the construction, but according to the people on the ground, it has already been constructed and medical personnel is already coming in, and there's rumors of it being operational as soon as next week. And this is all after the court injunction was given. So we are all in limbo, just observing. That's why there have been the protests, because even after the court said that, that should not continue until further advisement, the construction has continued. So that is why there's protests every Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
In a country like Kenya, it's very tricky because they do give the law, but then as a suggestion, laws are there to be broken.
Yes, clearly.
I don't know. So yeah, so and then apparently they're also saying that this is not a new thing. Allegedly, the treaty was signed in 2015 by the previous government. So they are saying that the United States have been doing their part by giving us relief, giving us AIDS medication and testing kits and helping our AMREF. I don't know, a lot of stuff. So they're saying that it wasn't signed yesterday, so it was signed years ago, and they have been pulling on their end of the bargain. So now it's our turn. So then there's that angle. So now we are all just observing and trying to see how it's going to come out, but it's not looking very good. So
Okay.
we are all just holding our breaths as of now.
Okay. Thank you. So that's new news for me as well. I had no idea that this is something from years ago in a previous government, which today means nothing. Today is a new day. Today is a new problem. And so keep protesting. We're with you. We're writing to our people. We are, as you can see, I'm ready to start blasting things from the, from this recording to let people know what kind of risk we are in. I'm sorry that we are doing this to Kenyans. You are our brothers and sisters, and you don't deserve to be going through this, but we appreciate the protesting. Supporting us through the U.S. supporting Kenya through to hold Ebola back at the borders. I get that, but this is a new ask. This is a very new thing to me, and they are opening this regardless of what anybody wants. And the fact that the number that they are purporting to have given to the Kenyan government, $13.5 million. There are apartments in New York that are worth more than $13.5 million. And you're telling me that's all we're giving to the Kenyan government to set up this Ebola evac hospital? Does that address the water issue? I'm sure Sydney at some point can tell us in the next few days about what a risk it is to set something like this up. Sorry, I have Sydney on WhatsApp who wants to come in, but the idea that this is going to be set up and not invite in the Kenyans, that's the part that most people have a problem with. We understand that money has been paid, but I'm not sure that in that previous agreement there was going to be an allocation to move it. This is news to all Americans, and it was done in previous administrations, and therefore now we feel like there's new rules, and we get to have a say in that, and a community should have a say in that. So the next protest is on the 9th of June. I believe that's either a Monday or a Tuesday. It is a Tuesday. Mondays and Tuesdays are typically protest days. When I was there in 24 and the protests were happening, we could not travel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we can work around this. It's the safety that we're most concerned about. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Kate, for talking to us about what's going on. Sydney, when we come back, we'll get more information about what it means to put that evac center there. What happens to water? Who's giving the water? $13.5 million. We already know that's in Ruta's back pocket. That's in the president's back pocket. We don't think for a second that it's already been made its way to Nanyuki, because that is pittance. In today's numbers, $13.5 million is nothing. It will barely cover, again, water. Where are they getting the water? I believe that Laikipia County is still in a severe water situation, and I know Old Pajetta Conservancy is constantly looking for water solutions. One of our partners, and the reason I even met Old Pajetta Conservancy is called Well Aware. I'd like to share their screen now. Well Aware World. If you've not met Sarah and Catherine Bergman, Sarah and Catherine are the co-founders of Well Aware, and here we are. Let me share this screen with you guys. Let's share Well Aware. I am in this area. I'm in Kenya, period, because of Well Aware. Here, you can see that Well Aware is a water company. They are trying to deliver sustainable water solutions to rural East Africa. They're mainly in Kenya right now. They have other projects. They are not just digging deep water wells. That's not. There's so much issue, so much controversy and challenges around digging deep water wells in certain areas because there's so many wells. They're simply running dry. Well Aware knows this. Have been doing this for years. Over, I want to say we're up to 12 years now. Well Aware has been on the ground with a Kenyan team, Kenyans going to Kenyan villages and helping with the water situation. So they do not just come in and drill a water well like, say, Mr. Beast. That is not the sustainable way to do that. The water company that knows this best is Well Aware. For years, they've been meeting with communities across East Africa, sitting down in these communities and coming up with 100% success in water projects across all of these communities. They meet with them, they talk about where they should be, and the water wells or the water solutions are generally put in schools or community centers only. They are not put on private land. They are put on tribal land owned by a community and discussed with the community. The well is owned by a community. The kiosks are owned by a community. So to the many thousands of donors already to Well Aware who have already put out, have given hundreds of water well solutions and water wells and rainwater collection systems across Africa. Thank you for your work. Without the water, we can't do our work. That's why I say we simply follow Well Aware. Follow the water. Where the water goes, we can now work. When water ends up in a school, and all of these kids that you're seeing right now on this website, you can see these kids, happy kids. It's just a kiosk that you're seeing. This is where we go. When you travel with True Places and you're a member of Regeneration Station, you're actually on the ground watching these wells being developed, being dug. And that's after months and months and months of research to make sure that they will be successful on that drill. When the drill happens, the water comes out of the ground. That's one of the best experiences you'll ever have in Kenya, is with our friends at Well Aware. Not only do we travel with Well Aware, but that's where Science in a Suitcase, International Peace Initiatives, Mizani Concepts, Leo Project, Olpejeta Conservancy, and more. All of these nonprofits come along with us for the ride. You will either meet or they will be on the tour with us before, during, and after your experience in Kenya with us. And Well Aware is the leader. Thank you, Well Aware, for inviting me into your Olpejeta Conservancy, Tangi Nyuisi, in 2022, and letting us bring in our wonderful 6 bricks into these communities. What has been halted by this happening with this? Oh, sorry. Am I sharing? I am sharing. Wait, maybe I'm not sharing. Share. Shoot, sorry. Now I'm sharing. I'm so sorry. I am sharing Well Aware's website so that you can see. It is absolutely beautiful. They have some of the best photographers in the world joining them on the trip to document the work they're doing. These wells, you can see these kids. Look how these kids, they are happy and thriving and joyful. When you take a trip with Regeneration Station partners like Well Aware, when you come with True Places and meet Mizani Concept, Science in a Suitcase, Leo Project, all of these NGOs that are working together in tandem for this one community. All of these communities come together to serve one, and it's working. It's been working since I first met this community way back in 2017 when I made my own personal journey to Olpejeta Conservancy with a friend of mine, Caroline. I was impressed then with the work they were doing. When I was invited to do a donor trip for Well Aware in 2017, of course I jumped at the chance. Sarah is one of the most incredible nonprofit founders I've ever met in my life, and one of the first regenerative principles. Yes, they are alive and well at work at Well Aware. Sorry, they are at work at Well Aware. Because regenerative principles are global and they are what is being recognized as the way forward. If you are still using terms like sustainability, you are in the past. You are stuck very far in the past. Nobody wants to sustain the world the way it is right now, breaking and degrading. We want to restore, rejuvenate, revive, regenerate within communities to save the environments and the bioregions that we have today. So, do we want to keep the work going in Old Pajetta Conservancy? Yes. But we want to make it regenerative, which goes beyond sustainable. So what do? We create experiences with our partners, like Well Aware, and we invite the donors and the supporters of Well Aware to come and be part of a community. You're not there to observe. We are fully engaged and working within the community on the work that they're doing at that time. We do not create programs just for tourists. That is not what we do. That is the industrial tourism complex. If you see a tourism partner, let's say it's usually corporate, it will be something big like American Express, Gap Adventures, Intrepid, ATP, Trafalgar, Kentucky, name a corporate travel provider. They're usually a tourism provider. They are not doing things regeneratively at the moment. They are still struggling to get a handle on what is sustainable. And I have been in the travel industry for almost 40 years. I was there 20 years ago, sorry, more, 26 years ago in New Zealand when sustainable tourism was the buzzword. It has not worked. It didn't work then. It's not working now. What is working is regenerative travel and using the 4 Cs, traveling to a framework where the community has choices, the community has ownership, the community has representation in the visitors coming into their community. We're not letting tourism define the culture of Nanyuki and Old Pajetta Conservancy. That is the job of Old Pajetta Conservancy. And nonprofits like Well Aware work within within Old Pajetta with regenerative principles. And that is diversity in ownership, diversity in representation within the community. So when Well Aware meets a community, they don't just meet the chief. Eventually, they meet the whole community. That includes the women, the children, the school teachers, the doctors, the nurses, the farmers, the nomadic, the agriculturalists, you name it. They're in there to make sure that the water solution is for the whole community and it will be regenerative, which means they will own it and they'll be able to use that water to grow their community in whatever way they wish. There are no rules. There are contracts for that community to abide by so that the whole community of up to 10,000 people are benefiting. So yes, there's a framework, community, conservation. Most of these communities are trying to conserve their own culture. The Maasai, the Turkana, Samburu, they are all around this area. When you come with Regeneration Station partners and travel with True Places and meet these communities, you're meeting more than just Well Aware and the locals that are benefiting from a well. You're meeting the entire community that will benefit from this water. Follow the water and we can do our work. Once the water is in place, now we can do our work. Buildings can be built. That means people like Turk Pipkin and Christy Pipkin, founders of Nobelity right here in Austin, Texas. And I'll bring that up now. Nobelity is an incredible entity that has been working in these regions for years and years and have brought lots and lots. I'm going to share this tab now. I want you to see nobelity.org. They have created some beautiful documentaries, featuring some of our partners. They are right there in this area. And for example, Turk Pipkin and Christy Pipkin and their work. There you go. There's Christy just there. Here, for example, let me just turn this on right now so that people can see. And I'll turn sound off just so you can see. The Nobelology Project has been building infrastructure at schools in Kenya for a long time. There's Turk. Can't miss him. He's one of the tallest people you ever meet. He calls himself a big old Q-tip with that white hair on top. But boy, do we know who Turk and Christy Pipkin are and their team at Nobelity. For example, this is one of the schools he has built. Once the water comes with Well Aware, we can now mix concrete. If you can mix concrete, you can build a building. So the next gratitude shout out, it's got to be Nobelity.org. We cannot thank you enough, Christy and Turk. There they are, drinking that clean water, making water systems and infrastructure work. Once the water comes, the schools are built, the buildings are built. Now they're inside. Now they have places for their dorms. Now they have places to eat undercover, in the shade, and protected. And oh goodness, is that Tito's? It looks like did Tito's give something? Tito's, of course, Tito's vodka. Always choose Tito's vodka first. They are one of the biggest donors to nonprofits all over Austin and the globe. So Tito's, thank you. And who else do we have out there? I mean, Nobelity's got so many partners. Heck, Turk knows Willie Nelson directly. So Willie, I'm sure you've written a check or two to Nobelity, and we thank you, because that is another regenerative NGO. Why is Nobelity regenerative? Because they are building where the community is needing, not where they want, not what makes them look good, not what promotes the ego of Nobelity. No, they're building where, in consultation with the communities, they're saying, we know where to build. Please help us. They build. And let me tell you, these classrooms just keep growing. Kids are graduating. Cultures are being redefined within these new spaces of education. There's Christy. What it means is computers are now able to be used because the building can now house the electricity. So now they have computers. Now the next partner gets to step right in. Now we're back to Science in a Suitcase. Now that we have a building, now that we have electricity, Science in a Suitcase comes in, trains the trainer, and has got schools all around Old Pajetta Conservancy and beyond access to world-class computer education. World-class STEM education is what I mean to say. STEM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We do say STEAM over here, but STEM is how most will know it. But boy, do they do that with fun, creativity, and an enormous amount of respect for the education system in Kenya. We're always training the trainers. Kenya has, again, countless thousands, tens of thousands of qualified, educated, phenomenal teachers. We do not bring teachers over to take the job and teach within a school. No, we teach side by side. It's training the trainer for 4 days, and then we leave. And Jeremy becomes the coach. Jeremy, the Kenyan, meets those schools, those teachers every single week, showing up, and that's why they're winning. That's why it's working. So as you can see, we have got Regeneration Station is made up of countless people, countless NGOs. We were not the first there, or we won't be the last to come in. But I cannot thank all of our partners enough for being there for us, for supporting our work, inviting us in the same work. Well Aware did not have to invite in Science in a Suitcase on that first trip in 2022 when we went to Tanya Nuisi, but she did. Sarah and Catherine both said, of course, we'd love to have Jeremy and your 6 bricks, your STEM education, come to Tanya Nuisi. And just that invite alone invited Jeremy into a whole new world. The teachers were grateful. The kids were grateful. Jeremy was grateful. And it is spread beyond. Well Aware, I'm not even sure. They are so busy. They are so in the thick of it right now, in the heat of it right now, again, trying to save their own work in Kenya, that I'm not reaching out. I'm not distracting them. I'm saying if water is your thing, go to wellawareworld.org right now. Go to and donate. If education and buildings are your thing, Turk Bipkin and Christy have got it down. Go to nobelity.org. They've already raised over $15 million. I can't believe I get to call them my partner. Goodness, Nicole, is there anybody I'm forgetting? Kate, is there anybody I'm forgetting out there? That Sydney shouted out from the chat. Thank you. We've been on since 10:52. And I know right now my dear coach Anna Boudreau is saying, well, as you see, they don't know how to get on Substack, but that's okay. We're going to practice, we're going to advertise, and we're going to do it more. I'll do it again from LinkedIn. I'll do it again from WhatsApp. We will do it again. Thank you for letting us practice. Thank you for letting us get our word, our voice out here. I've never done anything like this, but I'm ready to do it again. If everybody is good, I think it's time to let the Kenyans go to bed. They have a big few days in front of them, and I'm grateful to every one of you being here. Would anybody like to say anything before we sign out? You want to pop on? Anybody want to come on camera, or even just, you don't even have to come on camera, come on voice and just say hello. Be happy to have y'all. And then we will regroup for the protests happening next week. Hey, Kate, do you know if protests will be going on in Nairobi on Monday and Tuesday?
Well, yeah, they have been set for Tuesday.
Okay.
On the 9th. The 9th of June protest is countrywide. It's not just
countrywide. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kate, you obviously have a very young family. Does anybody want to say hello from the family? Hello, because if we're all here, if we're here, everyone's here. Everyone gets to be represented in the regenerative world. Hey, would you like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Say hello.
Hi.
Hi, what is your name?
Megan.
I'm sorry?
Megan.
Are you Megan?
Megan.
Megan? Well, you know me, but you can't see my face. And now who do we have, Megan? Your sister? What is your name, please?
Okay.
Shiro.
Shiro, Shiro, right? Shiro?
You want to come say hi?
And then it's okay. We never force anyone to come on screen, especially children. There's one more sister. There is. Where is she? Well, that's
the
okay.
Other one
You're
is
shy.
The other one is a preteen. She's not really into cameras these days.
You got it. That's totally fine. Well, thank you for saying hello, ladies. I can't wait to see you again and come to dinner and have my hair done. I'm looking forward to being back in the salon.
When are you coming?
I'm coming very soon. I promise. I'm trying to get there around June, June, July. All right. So give me, yes, Anna, they are a beautiful family. Look at those girls. So we, of course, will not be putting your little faces out on the clips that go out. So don't worry, your children will not be on the internet. But thank you for joining us, ladies. So Kate, you are going to say super safe because you have a family to take care of. But anything you can tell it, can help you with on the day of. I'd love to hear what's going on. Go live where we can, where we feel safe. And if I can get on a plane ASAP, I'm going to the embassy myself, and I'll go live from the embassy in Nairobi. So thank you, everyone. I will let you go now, and I'm sure we will convene very shortly. Kate, we'll talk again tomorrow. Sydney, we'll talk again tomorrow. We did what we wanted to do today, which is deliver that letter to Parliament. Sydney, you're a rock star. We're going to figure this out for next time, and see you on next week for the protest.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Nicole. Anybody want to say hi? Anything? That's totally fine if you don't. We'll see you next week. Sure appreciate everybody. Okay, people. We love ya. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.